It's another big one. Myself, SK Vibemaker for Rinse TV, and we've been through big special guests. We're talking about an artist that's been active in the game for 3 decades, unmistakable artist of Wu-Tang Clan, Ghostface Killah.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? What's up, baby?
Yo, I can't cope with the pressure, settling for lesser. The God left lessons on my dresser, so I can bloom and blossom, find a new way, continue to make more hits with Ray and A. Sunshine plays a major part in the daytime.
Peace to mankind, Ghostface, carry a black.
Nearly 20 years since the release of your debut album, Iron Man. What's your mentality right now, man, in the game?
It's just growing. It's growing every day. You know what I mean? Iron Man, you know, that was when I was a lot younger. And right now I see the game as far as music. I see what I do, my mistakes and what I need to do. And, you know, especially right now with all these new generation coming in, it's almost like you got to work double. You know what I mean, to get back where you want to be. You know what I mean, because everything is just happening so fast right now. So musically, being writing and being in the studio, I know, you know, like as far as the hooks and everything, you know, I evolved from that, and then know my work, how hard I have to work to get ahead and stay relevant. That's the whole thing, is staying relevant. You got to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Puff Daddy stays relevant, you know, Buster stays relevant. You gotta like really figure out and be in the mix of it. You know what I mean? And with these little kids, or however you want to call them, and just enjoy what you're doing, yo. That's it.
It's nice that you mentioned Puff Daddy right there, because it seems like you've mellowed out in your latter years, because back in the 90s, Wu-Tang was definitely against that side of things.
You know, because it's like you're younger. You're younger, you know how it is. It's like you're a young dude with a basketball. You're gonna go out there and shoot hoop all day and just shoot. Wanna play game, you know, y'all run full course right up and down the floor. But then as time goes on, the game changed. See, it's like with the labels, you know, they're not the same no more. You know what I mean? There's less people in the labels. You know what I mean? Now it's like they're giving out less money. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like these radio stations, they're not playing artists like they used to. They're playing like the new artists, and they excuses. I know it's politics, but they excuses saying like, for instance, the callers is calling for these kids. You know what I mean? So it's the little kids that's calling. Like we got 106 in Park up in New York. You know what I mean? Little kids show. You know what I mean? People get your video played. That's the only video thing that we got left that's holding on. You know what I mean? But them little 17, 16, whatever year old kids, they calling up for them little kind of records. You know what I mean? Like that. And that's what's getting played. Like, you know what I mean? So a lot of artists like Mobb Deep, Nas, and this and that and the third, we might get spunt a little bit. You know what I mean? But not like how it used to be in heavy rotation.
The game's changed a lot since the 90s, because it seems like it was more dictated by the radio stations and the DJs, whereas the tables have turned now and it's more dictated by the listener, the consumer. Do you feel like that may be the point?
I mean, it's half and half. It's half and half. The consumer, it's the consumer, but sometimes, you know, right now, for the people that's really getting it, like that's really getting played, like, they dropping money on these radio stations. I mean, they've been dropping money on the radio stations. But if you really want to get, you know, like you know, you got some dudes that might be coming around dropping 100 grand. Yo, I need heavy rotation. You know what I mean? On top of what the label had gave them. You know, because the label sometimes, I mean, they'd always give the radio station money to play your record. You know what I mean? But then you might have an artist that be like, yo, you know what? I can't deal with light rotation or just a couple of spins. I need more, and then you're gonna pay to play. It's called pay to play. You know what I mean? So it's a politic game around the thing, but it's a whole new generation, which is okay, because when I was 18. You know, when Rakim and them was out, it was like, yo, I was loving that. You know what I mean? But now, you gotta know how to adapt. You gotta know how to adapt. So once you could figure out and learn how to adapt, that's why we saying, oh, I know where's it at now? Or how to do all this, you know, like, because sometimes you gotta sit back and be like, yo, what's going on? Shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, but now I understand it, and you just gotta go out there, do you, and still do what you do it well, but know how to work with, you know what I mean, like how can I say it? you don't gotta be like what's going on right now, but you gotta be involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just sit out and be like, yo, you know what? No, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, no, you gotta be in the party with the. That's what Puff Daddy's doing. That's what he doing. That's what Jay-Z doing. You know what I mean? Even though they, you know, they paying, they, you know, whatever. But you know, that's just how it go.
And like when it comes to you, you're very prolific with your solo work. Many people argue that you've got the best solo catalog out of the Wu-Tang. Have you heard those arguments?
Yeah, I heard a lot. I heard a lot of those. Yeah, I heard a lot of those.
How does that feel?
I mean, it feels good. Standing amongst the other members that you gotta fight. You know what I mean, to get that spot. Like, you know what I mean. You got Jesus, you got Raekwon, you got Method Man, you got names. You know what I mean. But for me to get ahead and stand amongst those names and for my solo work to, you know what I mean, to get ahead and just be where it's at, yo, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I can't even lie to you, yo. You know what I mean?
Now, you've been in and out of the UK a few times over the last month or so. You've been doing shows. The UK loves you. And I can see that you definitely like the UK because I found out that one of your big influences was UK's very own Slick Rick. Now, is that true? For the chains and the storytelling?
Slick Rick, yeah. Slick Rick, his style was just like how I envisioned myself. You know what I mean? And from his accent on down was like, yo, that man right there is like his storytelling. It was just like, yo, everything Slick Rick had the full package. If anything was missing from his package was which he didn't even need was gangster shit. But he don't even need that. Too slick for that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just a fly motherfucker with an ill voice that just did whatever he did, yo. And that's what attracted me to Rick like that. I love Rakim and them, Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap. You know, those are like my KRS and them, my favorite MCs, Bismarcky and them. Those are like my top favorite. You know what I mean? And Rick was in there, Rick and Dougie Fresh. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do admire Rick. He knows that too. Now,
we're hearing about 2 Wu-Tang albums, man.
Yeah, definitely.
The Shaolin album, and we're hearing about A Better Tomorrow.
Yep,
now, with the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album, we're hearing that there's only going to be one physical copy.
One copy.
It's not going to be digitally released, and it's going to be available for people to listen to in galleries. What can you tell us about the album, man?
I mean, that's a brilliant idea. You ask me like that. You know what I mean? But RZA and his man Silver Rings, you know what I mean, had you know, had this idea, mainly Silver Rings, you know what I mean, and you know, that's my boy. You know, that album been like recorded. It been recorded
long time ago,
a while ago, maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? And you know, I played my part. Everybody played their part, and he just put it together. He wanted a certain way for you. He wanted you to sound on it. Like, he might send a record back. No, Ghost, I need you to be more, whatchamacallit, just go more crazy on it. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep the same verse, but go ahead and do, or he might tell you to actually to change it a little bit, because whatever. But anyway, we did that. I didn't get to hear everybody else's stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, by the time the product was finished, it sound like that it could have been made back in 36 chamber era. You know what I mean? The way the old beats was and the way it was sounding like. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's for the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin.
With the release of the 8 Diagrams album, a lot of the UK fans, I don't know if this was the same worldwide, felt disappointed with that album and felt that it kind of wrecked the WuTang legacy a bit, the reputation of Wu-Tang.
Yeah, I can't say it wrecked the Wu-Tang Legacy, because the Wu-Tang Legacy is forever, yo. This, you know what I mean, is big. You know what I mean? People look at us like superheroes, and I guess from the work that we put in, from everywhere, from every member. You know what I mean? So they expect more from you like that. I wouldn't say the legacy. It wouldn't rip the legacy, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, your legacy is gone because you made a fucking album. You know what I mean? That's like you saying Muhammad Ali, he took a loss to Joe Frazier, that he ain't the champ. Like, he ain't the greatest ever. He's still the greatest ever. He the greatest ever because he lost 3 times, but came back and won that title 3 times. Not because he was an ill boxer, you know what I mean? But it was just like, you know, that's how it go. So I wouldn't say that it ripped the legacy. I would say that, you know what I mean, the 8 diagrams, I was disappointed in it. Ray was disappointed in it. You know what I mean? We didn't really want to do the shit. You know what I mean? Because, you know, of certain things. But, you know, as far most, it's like, yo, man, it has to be right. You know what I mean? And that's what be wrong, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it has to be right. Gotta be right. Like, I'm funny about music. But I know when I hear something, I know it's right. I know that the world gonna jump on it. Because I can see my catalog and I can look at, like, yo, fans, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm the best knower of music because I learned from Riz and them. But I still got that ear of knowing, like, yo, you know what? That right there is the fucking thrasher, kid. Rhyme on that. Make that one. You know what I mean? But I didn't agree with that album. There's a lot of albums I didn't agree with. You know what I mean? Not say I gave up, but it was like after the second one, after Wu-Tang Forever, I didn't really appreciate the work that we put in.
Yeah.
For the rest of those.
Iron Flag, the W.
I didn't. W was too dark for me. It was too dark. It was nothing colorful. I like colorful shit, colorful beats, skits. I like, and I know the potential of all my brothers there. So it's like, and he wasn't just saying that they was whack on the track. You know what I mean? It's just that a vibe. The vibe of the album wasn't like a 36 chamber vibe or like a big like a beautiful vibe. Shit, sometimes some shit was dark. Like we could have chose better beats on Iron Flag and this one and that. When you could have just did better. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I wasn't. You know what I mean?
Now, when it comes to great hip hop producers, your likes of J Dilla and Primo and even Kanye West are often mentioned, but you don't hear RZA as much. I wanted to ask you, why do you think that is?
Because Riz is too much of a scientist, man. It was like he never really made a lot of beats for other people too, but the ones you just mentioned, they learn from him.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like Kanye, you know what I mean, getting tracks from him, you know what I mean, telling him like, yo man, I took, you know what I mean, how'd you do this or how'd you do that? Yo, I did this. Riz is a scientist. If you got to know him one-on-one, out of all the people that you just mentioned and plus more, you know what I mean, he might be the intelligent one in the whole room. But when you so smart that way, you see things that other people can't see. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's like, and even making the beat, it'll fuck around and take you somewhere where, damn, we can't see that. You know what I mean? But he can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what it is. I mean that's part of probably what it is too. You know what I mean? So he don't really get in there, but the albums that he did make between Summer Supreme and Iron Man, Cuban Links, Killer Hills 10304, the Genius shit, you know, Method Man shit, that's enough right there. How many albums Primo had? Primo, what? You know what I mean?
Gangstar.
Yeah, but Gangstar.
Quite a few.
Yeah, but Riz had a lot of albums too, with the solo albums, yeah, not just Wu-Tang albums. You know what I mean? He smashed the first album, Wu-Tang Forever, and the second, the 36 Chambers and Wu-Tang Forever. But then you gotta look at the Dirty album. It's fucking a classic.
Definitely.
Like I said, Meth album was a classic. Genius album was a fucking what's it, Ray album. Then he did Iron Man on top of that. It's like, you know, but he just probably wasn't in the you know, like making other beats for other niggas and doing all this other shit like that. That's probably why he don't probably get that much recognition. But when you could sit down and listen to go do shit, yo, he's crazy.
Run if you to the school zone. Run if you getting chased with no shoes on. Run, that run. Cops got, they giving out life like.
It's been another big one. Myself, SK Vibemaker for Rinse TV. Thank you very much for coming through, Ghostface, man.
No doubt, baby. Yo, this is Ghostface shouting out Rinse TV, baby. Watch out for the Blue and Cream album. Supreme Clientele presents Blue and Cream, the Wiley era. No doubt, coming soon.